No, the studio cat is too fat to scramble.
That would be our guard cat at the TV Tan Studios down in the 5th basement, because that's where all the mice are. And for some reason, that cat is just not really a good mouser.
No, not really.
And yet,
if she had to kill her own food, she'd be dead within a week.
Well, let's hope that doesn't happen here. That does bring up a question. Do we have enough of the pallets that your cat can drink her way through this pandemic?
Oh, what you're referring to is the photo of a non-Bohemian beer celebrating Pie and Beer Day of a few days past, and that was from a few years ago.
Wait, is that from you or is that from Sean Mead?
That was what? No, that was from me.
Oh, okay. You're talking your because I was this guy over Days of 47 holiday weekend, and I saw our good movie cricket, Sean Mead. He decided to post something about, Pioneer Day. We call it Pie and Beer Day.
Oh, yeah. Yes. Of course, yes.
And of course, what would I do like this? I Sean Means mentioned that he had Virgil root beer and pie, and I responded, "What? Couldn't get a local root beer or a regular beer for Pie and Beer?" He replied, "It's my constitutional right to make a half-assed effort for a made-up holiday. Yes, all holidays are made up, but some are more made up than others." To which I replied, short, #all holidays.
Okay.
So, bit of a long stretch there.
That was a highly intellectual exchange, for sure. Yeah, so TV Tan Podcast episode 032 what? What is this?
Episode 0329, and you witnessed the witty banter that can happen on TV Tan Podcast with me, Tommy Milagro.
And me, Bill Frost. And, computer fuckery continues, but we're recording, far as I can tell right now. We'll see how long it goes. We don't want to deprive the dozens of listeners out there of this weekly genius. And who are we drinking this week?
Well, thank God we have some genius juice here, courtesy of OG sponsor Sugar House Distillery. I am having the Sugar House Distillery vodka, which I made into a salty dog. We've had this before, but just to get everybody up to salty dog, it's just basically vodka and grapefruit. In my case, freshly squeezed, and you just line.
Not to brag.
No.
Not to brag at all. No.
No, and I line the rim with some sea salt and garnish it off with a little bit of grapefruit there.
Okay.
So, that's how fancy as fuck as I am. But
cool, yeah.
You've got your palates of Bohemian Brewery going through.
Oh yeah, I still got plenty of cerveza here. And also, should reach off the top of the program here. If you ever want to reach out to us, why the fuck not? Reach out to us.
Like
TV Tan Podcast, Twitter, Facebook, Gmail, all TV Tan Podcast. We don't hear from you nearly enough. And if you want to rate us on a thing, that's cool. If not, doesn't matter. There's a thing out there called Podchaser. I guess we're on it.
Oh, we are?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
It's a thing where you rate podcasts, but every place is a place where you rate podcasts. So if you happen to run across it, 5 stars, give it 12 stars. Why not?
Now, exactly where are we rated, or if at all?
We're rated at we barely exist on Podchaser. We have a presence there, and that's it.
Oh, okay. So like everything else, we're around, but nobody cares that much.
Pretty much, all yes. Right. Exactly, right. Yeah. And coming up this week, not a busy week, not a slow week whatsoever, but Friday, The Umbrella Academy Season 2.
Okay.
On Netflix.
This is the dream of this is the creation of Gerard Way of the band My Chemical Romance and Scott Bob, the illustrator. I've said it before, but now that we have an actual way to reference this is Doom Patrol that has more family issues than they could ever fucking have.
Yeah, it's a superhero show with a different vibe to it, much like Doom Patrol, and it's a bunch of kids were born on the same day in 1989, and they come to find out they have powers, and the man who kind of gave them to them ends up dead, and now they're working to solve the mystery. This is from Dark Horse Comics, and the first season was pretty cool. There's a trailer out now, and the second season looks fucking crazy.
Now, when we left the Umbrella Academy, they had their sibling, number 5, that's his name, have them travel back in time to escape the meteor, the chip of the moon that was coming to crash into Earth and thus obliterate society.
Yeah, now they're back in 1963,
and they're trying to not only get back home, but they're also going to try to save the world by changing something in that timeline.
They should follow Mr. Show's advice and blow up the moon.
That just makes sense. That just only makes sense. They should just blow it up right away.
The time has come to blow up the moon. Mr. Show had it right all along.
Yeah. Have you seen any of the episodes thus far
of the new season? Not yet. No. I'll be joining along with the rest of America and checking out season 2 of the Umbrella Academy. And also dropping on Friday is Beyonce's new thing, Black is King.
Okay.
Based on the music of The Lion King, The Gift, and it's another Doink Doink visual album from Beyonce. And we have guest appearances from Childish Gambino, Kendrick Lamar, Pharrell, and a whole list of people. And I've also seen the trailer for this, and it looks pretty fantastic.
Now this is going to be on Disney Plus.
Disney Plus, yes.
So, first question: what in the name of Lemonade is Scope going to be? Is this going to be like her answer to the Who, Tommy, or Quadrophenia? Is that what she's trying to do at this point?
No one knows what those are. Come on.
Well, which brings me to the second question, just to make it more relevant. Of the cast that you just mentioned, Gambino and Pharrell, Kendrick Lamar, is Becky with the good hair going to make an appearance?
It's entirely possible, yes. But this is an uplifting Black experience.
In other words, Disney is getting woke as fuck.
Oh yeah, first Hamilton, now this.
Yeah, next thing you know, they'll release Song of the South.
Yeah, no. On the other end of the scale, also dropping on Friday on Disney Plus, it's Muppets Now, a new Muppet series. They're rushing to get their new Muppet series up on a new streaming site, so it's very meta.
Okay, I don't know how I'm feeling about this because I like the Muppet Show, and like back in the '70s. And then they've had like the reboots, I guess is the word I'm looking for.
Yeah, they did a TV show for ABC a couple of years ago. It was a similarly.
Is the genius juice really starting to kick into high gear now, sir?
It was close to what they're doing here. It was a kind of a behind the scenes of the show kind of deal. It's a bit 30 Rockish.
Now remind me again. Was there a point when it was on ABC? And correct me if I'm wrong. It was on ABC.
Yes, it was.
Tried that.
Yes,
okay.
It was on ABC.
Now apparently, Kermit and Fozzie were a little bit more. What's the word I'm looking for? A bit more adult in their tone.
Little bit, yeah.
And how is that going to play on Disney?
I don't know. I don't know what angle they're going for here. I think they're just going for laughs now. I don't think they're trying to reinvent the Muppets. They're just going for them good old Muppet vibes, good old feel good Muppet vibes, man.
They want the felt to be where it's at.
You're gonna feel the felt.
Yes, there we are.
Yeah, and also on Friday, check this out. It's a documentary on Showtime about the Go-Go's. This is a Sundance. This is a Sundance film, and now it's coming to Showtime. You know much about the Go-Go's when they first rose up in the 80s?
When I was a kid, I only remember on like Top 4 Music, with We Got the Beat and all that.
Oh yeah.
Then later on, I hear them every now and again from sister, and like the big brother that I am, I instantly hated any musical choice that my sister ever had.
Oh yeah.
So this is me saying I apologize not just to the Go-Go's, but to Madonna and Howard Jones, a fine pianist.
Oh, yeah.
The only other time that I ever heard the Go-Go's mentioned was, I want to say, somewhere in the 2000s during the cavalcade of reality shows on VH1, where the C and D listers were on, and one of the Go-Go's was on there, and turned out she was a dominatrix. Something.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I'm going to guess that was Kathy Valentine, the bassist. That sounds right up her alley.
Is she the one with the dark hair?
Yeah, she's one of a couple of them with dark hair. But the Go-Go's came up in the very early 80s, maybe even in the late 70s, as a punk rock band in L.A. They were punk as fuck. And then, that's how they got good at playing instruments, because they weren't at first. But they're notable for being the first all-female platinum group who played their own instruments and wrote their own songs. And, of course, they carried on their punk rock ways into pop stardom. And, drugs, booze, sex, drugs, rock and roll, all of it. A couple of them, actually, I think all of them had to go to rehab at one point or another. They were fucked up, and they broke up the band, and they reunited a few years ago. And, now we have this.
Okay, and
so I think
what part?
I think this will be just as debaucherous as any rock doc you've seen.
I don't know. I mean, the Dirt's sort of the.
I think they can rival. I think they can rival the Crew. The stories I've read about the Go-Go's back in the day, they can rival the Crew.
I want the Go-Go's and the Crew to sit in a room together and go over those scenes.
Yeah, the Go-Go's would kick their ass.
Well, I don't know. I mean, the Dirt's squirt scene versus anything the Go-Go's.
Well, we'll see if they have one. Maybe they have a scene like that.
Where are we going to see that on? Is that Netflix?
Showtime.
Or? Oh, okay. Well, then anything's possible at this point.
Yeah, and finally this from the What the Fuck Files. We have a sort of a reunion of the Osbournes coming up on Sunday, August 2nd, on the Travel Channel, which no longer is about travel. The Travel Channel now is pretty much all paranormal bullshit, and they have a new series called The Osbournes Want to Believe, starring Ozzy, Sharon, and Jack. And basically all this is Jack showing Ozzy and Sharon footage of UFOs and Bigfoots and whatever else, and Ozzy and Sharon going, that's bullshit. That's the show.
Now,
no Kelly.
I can safely say right now that this has a fecal smell to this.
You're right.
There's only one way that this could be made better, and we could still keep the same premise, except let's just knock out Jack and Kelly because they're fucking deadweight, but keep Sharon and Ozzy and add Donnie and Marie Osmond.
Okay.
And then have them go, not just the supernatural, but have them deal with Mormon culture. If one of those stars doesn't have a heart attack, that would be my dream right there.
Okay.
I know it's not going to get past standards and practice, but hey, it's a good idea.
And we haven't touched on the tragedy of the week, Reg.
Actually, we had a couple of tragedies. Let's start with Regis Philbin. Why don't you dive into that?
Well, he dead. The guy who's been on your TV forever. Let me guess, 60 years at least, maybe longer.
Yeah, I was reading about him the other day. Apparently, he started as a page on the Tonight Show, then he parlayed that to one of the other variety shows, and from the 60s, at least from the late 50s on to, I want to say, the 2000s, he has been as prolific as can be, which actually, I'm going to hold off on that because that is a little bit of the sports news. But the other tragedy that we had was John Saxon. You know that name?
John Saxon, not to be confused with John Voight.
No, not John Voight.
Or John Savage.
Yeah, no.
These are those are different actors from the 70s.
Right. Now, this is John Saxon. Now, he's most notable as Roper from Enter the Dragon, and he was also in the first Nightmare on Elm Street.
Okay.
But, yeah, apparently, according to this, he also had a lot of roles on TV, including Dynasty.
Oh, shit.
Back in the
okay.
day. Yeah. So, that's the only reason why I'm bringing him up. But the Reg, well, he's in hell. And he was one of a kind and original, and he will be missed by Kathy Lee, who will join him any day now.
I don't think Kathy Lee is aware.
More importantly, does Kathy Lee care at this point?
No.
I wonder.
I don't think so, no.
Oh, well. Well, too bad for him. He did.
And also, Olivia de Havilland. Of course, she was 104, so damn.
Now, for our listeners that are going, who? Olivia de Havilland was the last remaining star of Gone with the Wind. Of course, if you have HBO Max, of course you don't know what the fuck we're talking about. So let's try to catch you up here, kids. See, there's this movie that hasn't aged well over the years because everybody's woke as fuck now. At least HBO Max is anyway, but that was Gone with the Wind. And this is the part that's really... She was very influential as far as Hollywood politics go. She actually sued the Hollywood producers around the 40s because they had them locked into ironclad contracts. And the courts saw it in their favor. And ever since then, anybody who's contracted with a studio is to last a maximum of 7 years. And it has become what's known as the Havilland law. And it's interesting, and this is the part that I thought was interesting. I think this is in the Hollywood Reporter or is on Yahoo Entertainment that I was reading this today. Apparently, this law is still so revered and so effective. Stars of current years like Jared Leto and Courtney Love sought out how to get out of their contracts or deal with their contracts based on this law. Jared Leto of 30 Seconds to Mars and My So-Called Life, turning it back to TV, actually reached out to Olivia de Havilland, who's living in Paris, about that time. So that is some cool history right there. And more to the point, I'm surprised as fuck we didn't learn more about her life until obviously when she passed away.
That's how it always goes.
Yeah, that's usually the case, sir. But yeah, if ever our listeners want to learn about the life of Olivia de Havilland, check that out. We'll probably put that on our various social medias so you can read up on her life.
And I do have some good news here.
Thank God, we need them.
We have a premiere date for season 11 of Archer.
Oh, okay, I need this. What's the good news?
On FXX on Wednesday, September 16th.
September 16th?
Yes.
Okay. I feel good about myself now.
So there's something to look forward to, if nothing else.
Is this going to be the series finally, or is this just 11th season?
Well, season 10 was supposed to be the last, then they changed their minds. They go, "No, fuck it, we'll make some more." They kind of pulled a Curb Your Enthusiasm on it and says, "Oh no, we'll make some more."
Let's milk that for all it's worth.
And I believe Archer is out of the. Now, if we remember all the way back to the 10th season finale, Archer is out of that coma he's been in for several seasons.
Right, and he was a private detective. He was a pilot for a seedy airline.
They were in space. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we could be getting back to spy work, maybe, if they still have a job.
So they haven't said anything more about what the plot's going to be?
No, it's under lock and key. It's top secret information right now.
Okay. Well, and thank goodness that, if you're a voice actor, you could just go into the studio and socially distance, so no problems there.
Yeah, we may be seeing a lot of cartoons coming up in the fall and winter.
I failed to see where the problem
is. If TV is nothing but cartoons, and yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, and thank God that a lot of people in Korea are better from from the virus, so they could just churn out those animations lickety split. So
well, maybe we're looking forward to back half of the year of nothing but cartoons and wrestling. Is that a segue?
I see what you did.
Is that a segue?
I believe that is if you hit the music.
And sports with Tommy Milagro. Go team!
From the sports desk here and the bunker adjacent TV10 podcast, we deliver to you only the sport of professional wrestling. Let's see. We talked about Impact last week. Recently held their Slammiversary, and as expected, all of the stars released by the WWE had made appearances from EC3 to Eric Young to the Gallows and Anderson, and interestingly enough, not part of the released WWE stars, but part of TNA, the Motor City Machine Gun made their appearance. And the next day on Impact, on Axis, beat the North for the Impact Tag Team Champion. Now, as of right now, there wasn't really many other plans as to what to do with stars that are now with Impact Wrestling. However, it has now become a little more must-watch. So, Access TV Tuesdays is where you can find Impact Wrestling. It's still a thing, kid. It's still hard to kill. Speaking of WWE, going back to the wrestlers there, now there's been some stories that stated that part of the reason they were released, not just because of the whole COVID thing, but apparently there are stories going about that the people that got released were released because they kind of raised some issues about the whole Saudi Arabia thing, and being stranded there and not exactly feeling the whole vibe of Saudi Arabia and how things were handled. So we're still trying to suss this out, but we'll try to come back to that in a second. But then the other interesting thing to come out of it is that there was a story in the new website slamwrestling.net, which is where TV10 Podcast always gets its best stories. There was one story that talked about the WWE shareholders meeting, and it's a bit of a deep dive. I'm not going to lie to you. The only things that are interesting as of the state that we're going to just only touch on here is that they had obviously made a lot of money ending December 2019 for their fiscal year. He also mentioned, and this is going to segue to the next part here, in response to a question about declining TV ratings, according to the story, McMahon noted the TV ratings in general have been affected by the current COVID-19 situation, but they are still number one in ratings on the USA Network and on Friday night in key demographics, and have also seen an increase in digital ratings metrics. And also, regarding NXT, Triple H, or Levesque, as he's known during the shareholders meeting, noted it had a dual purpose, both as a strong third global brand for the company and as a way to develop talent and create new stars. He was not very happy with the ratings. They've been going head-to-head with AEW, All Elite Wrestling, but they look at it in the long term, not the short term, and that, quote, the future is very bright in that regard. And the last part, going to All Elite Wrestling, and they've asked about how the company's been taking away market share from the NXT show. Levesque acknowledged ratings, but didn't express many major concerns, saying, quote, there's a moment in time when you begin something, and it's very exciting, and it's fresh, and there's something interesting in it, but it's a big world, and we continue to be focused on that product. Now let's get ready to suck it!
Okay.
He didn't say that, but imagine how much of a big pop he would have gotten.
It was implied.
Yes, it was definitely implied. But before we get into AEW, and this is just just some advice for certain sports celebs that have radio shows. Adam Cole of NXT and the Undisputed Era went to a sports radio show hosted by Pat McAfee, who used to be a kicker for the Indianapolis Colts, which is the only way anybody would even remember him. Apparently, he went on to the show, and so for the most part, was supposed to be a cordial meeting because they called each other out on Twitter, because that's always good.
That always ends well.
Yeah. Oh, this is how it ended. According to this, I guess some questions that McAfee brought up how much Cole has benefited from having Undisputed Era in his corner, and then Cole's demeanor began to change. So according to SlamWrestling.net, Cole went, quote, "I know you're just doing your job. It took some time out of visiting my family to come up and do your show, but you're being a total dick right now. And I find it so ironic that of all the people I have to say I surrounded myself with really great talent, and that the reason I succeeded of all people, you, a punter on a team that literally did everything, you just happened to kick a football now again?" And then at that point, they really got into heated words, to which point McAfee's producer had to come in and kick Cole out. And apparently Cole was just screaming total epithets, going, "Fuck you, no fuck you, get out of here. What the fuck is wrong with this guy?" said McAfee. Again, this is just us here at the Sports Desk saying, don't take to Twitter. Don't start there. That's all we ask. And moving on now to AEW, and this is going to come back to WWE here. According to Sportskeeda, WWE reportedly lost a massive contract to AEW, and this is with Sky Sports Italy. Now, bear with me. Sky Sports Italy, it says here in this article, no longer interested in airing WWE shows, they decided to part ways with the company after a two-decade-long relationship. And the reasons for that is because Sky Sports Italy is calling it quits over a combination of the cost of rights to air the shows and the loss of viewers over the subsequent weeks. And the network has decided to air AEW Dynamite on Friday night, starting from July 31st. Now, kids, we bring this up because sometimes Bill mentions ratings, even though we're in content shifter mode, literally and figuratively. But this should illustrate to you why ratings can be very important when you wonder, oh, why is this getting canceled? Again, it's not all free there. You got to actually pay attention to what the fuck you're watching, and they got to answer to advertisers, because if the advertisers pull, you're not going to see that show for very fucking long. That should be television 101 as to why the fuck it's important to begin with. Just saying. And now we move to AEW, which over on Dynamite on Wednesday nights, by the way, they had a couple of interesting developments. Among them, the American Nightmare, Cody, challenged for, had an open-ended challenge for his TNT championship, which was answered by Eddie Kingston, formerly of NWA Power. Which, by the way, if you go to All Elite Wrestling's YouTube channel, they do have clips from some of those shows. At least watch it, because Eddie Kingston cut the most intense and very just in-your-face promo that I've ever seen in a long time. Even went as so far as to call out Arn Anderson, said he would just murder him.
Oh, well.
So, if you thought that was good, featured the Inner Circle in a melee at the end here, and one of the attendees was under a mask, under the name Serpentico, but when the mask was raised, it was Sammy Guevara returning back to AEW, which, as you may all remember here, Sammy Guevara has been off TV for a while and under suspension because he decided, once again, podcast, decided to mention Sasha Banks in unflattering lights. Now, I don't know what his story is. I know some people who know him. I will just say, just as a thought, be not saying you want to rape Sasha Banks or any female wrestler, any female for any reason whatsoever, should be seen as a compliment. That should be kind of sense. But he's been off TV. He was getting sensitivity training, and a portion of his salary was to be donated to women's centers in the Florida area. But I guess the suspension's over, so I guess 30 days is enough. Some people argue, hey, that's great. Maybe he's learned his lesson. Others have said, again, on Twitter, really? Just took a vacation? Is that it? I will say...
That's pretty much what it amounts to.
Yeah, I will say, and that subject right there, whether it was too much or not enough, that's up to the bosses, like Tony Khan, the owner of AEW, to decide what is the right amount of punishment. And if you think that's not enough, may I point you to a wonderful little documentary called Jim Jeffries Intolerant? I think that would cover that subject very well. And finally, this is kind of in the bad news, good news category here. Let me take a drink of the genius juice here.
Yeah, get ready for it.
Oh, this one might be bad news, because bad news is Chris Jericho, Le Champion, self-proclaimed demo god. He's had a cruise, his Jericho cruise, set to be lined up to start hopefully around February of next year. But the way things are going, I'm looking at you, Florida, Texas, and definitely Utah County, we can't have nice things. So therefore, he announced with a heavy heart that he is going to have to postpone the Jericho cruise. So it's not going to happen early next year. But good news is they're hoping it will happen in October of 2021.
Sure.
So
okay.
So that was the bad news. The good news is now you got some time next year to actually want to be on this cruise. And I'm only bringing this up because since the cruise is filled with not just wrestling, but also heavy metal acts, rock acts, as it were, I think their petition needs to be done. We'll have to make it up on moveon.org, or maybe we'll do it on Twitter, that Magda Vega needs to be on this cruise.
Well, only if Sebastian Bach is also there.
Oh, you mean for the rock-off?
Yes.
Between him and the demo god?
This sounds like the perfect place for the rock-off.
I do believe you are right, sir. I do believe you are correct. We at TV10 Podcast, we will get it into the ears of the demo god and try to shoehorn in Magda Vega at the same time.
No problem.
I'm going to try to look out for everyone's best interest because it's sports.
And sports with Tommy Milagro. Go team. Finally, despite what you've heard from the White House, Paw Patrol is not canceled.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure somebody was worried and wondering about that. To say, not us, because we're not.
On Friday, White House spokeswoman, whatever the hell her name is.
You mean the blonde micro?
Kaylee McKinnon. Yeah, she let everybody know that, they came for cops, they came for Live PD, and now they've canceled Paw Patrol. That is not the case. Paw Patrol is a cartoon, and so the president apparently was appalled by the cancellation, even though it never happened.
Meanwhile, there's other things he really needs to focus on.
You would think so, yeah, but Nickelodeon wants you to know that Paw Patrol is not canceled. So a little beam of light in everything here.
We need so much as the days wear on nowadays.
Yeah, and before we sign off here, I'm going to warn you off doing 2 movies that are currently... These are new releases. This isn't part of the Fuck the 80s. This is the Fuck the Now series.
Okay. Well, I gotta fuck the 80s to add in there. But you start with your.
Okay. The first one is The Rental, currently on video on demand. This is from Dave Franco, and starring Mrs. Dave Franco, Allison Brie, and it's about a couple at a B&B in the wilderness, and it starts off, maybe it's a horror film, maybe it's a psychological thriller. No, it's just a bunch of people arguing at themselves, and it sucks. And also there's another one, I don't know if, maybe I'll have to watch it again, but it's such a mind fuck and not what I was expecting at all. Vivarium, Jesse Eisenberg and Imogen Poots are in this story about a young couple who go to check out a new home and a development project where all the homes look the same, and they become trapped there forever and ever, and they have to raise an alien baby.
Like you do.
It is mind fuckery of the highest level, and I don't know if I can recommend it or not. I will say it's better than The Rental.
Yeah, well,
so if you want to see young people in peril, here you go.
Okay. Well, I see The Rental and your Vivarium, and I raise you my little thing I came across the other day, Nate and Hayes. Now, are you familiar with this little
Nope,
gem?
I don't think so, no.
Okay. This is where it's kind of in the good-bad category here, but Nate and Hayes stars then Tommy Lee Jones as a pirate.
Oh.
And
okay.
Oh, and then it also features Michael O'Keefe, who used to be in Caddyshack.
Yes, Danny Noonan.
Yep, and it's according to Amazon Prime, a swashbuckling adventure which takes place in the mid-1800s on the South Pacific Islands, where bloody raids and battles were once the rule of the day. So if you ever thought Pirates of the Caribbean was pretentious as fuck, I'm here to tell you this blows it out of the water.
And where the hell did you run across this?
Well, when I was a kid, my parents once rented that film. That's why it stuck with me over the years. Only just because I thought, isn't it kind of curious that a pirate has a bit of a southern accent?
Yeah, okay.
And then flash forward to Amazon Prime. I'm looking for it, and Amazon Prime's going, oh, we got some choices for you. Well, let's see. I was having fun with Jim Jeffries and Tolerant, and Nate and Hayes. Let's see this again. Yeah, it just doesn't hold the fuck up. So. And
what year was this released?
1983.
Oh yeah.
So
not a great year.
I guess they were trying to capitalize on Indiana Jones motif. So
and did not work.
Nope, this is one of the ones where some of those things don't fucking work, and there wasn't a fucking Netflix to stick it on, but you had to go to theaters. And there you go.
Okay. This has been episode 023. No, what is it? What is it?
Episode 0329.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Podcast. It doesn't matter anymore. It's a lot of episodes.
The days are blurred.
Yeah, we want to thank Sugar House Distillery for the vodka. Also, our other fine sponsors. Rattle them off.
That would be Outlaw Distillery. That would also be Ogden's Own, purveyors of the Five Wives Vodka, Madame Patarini Gin, Porter's Fire, and the Underground. Which, if anybody from Ogden's Own is listening, we'll post something for your Ogden's Own challenge soon enough. And, of course, we've got pallets and pallets and pallets, at least at the TV Tan Studios, of Bohemian Brewery to get us through this pandemic.
Yes.
But please stop by in downtown Salt Lake, mask the fuck up, you fucking children, and say hello to Ivy at...
All right. And, once again, reach out to us if you feel like it. TV Town Podcast, Twitter, Facebook, Gmail, all those things. And, that's it for this week.
Yep, I'm just going to enjoy the rest of this salty dog because life is important.
Good night, America.
And jiggle that handle, kids, because it's time to flush.